There are various functions of the plasma membrane which we have already an idea about. But today we are going to discuss in details about some of the processes which take place in the cell's plasma membrane, and they are helpful in conduction of various particles in and out of the plasma membrane. So first of all, we will be looking into details about the various processes which occur in the plasma membrane. We are aware about the fluid mosaic model and what is the exact structure of the cell membrane. Now we will be discussing about different types of movements. One of the movement which we have an idea about is the simple diffusion. How does simple diffusion occur? If you remember, the movement of particles from a concentration of lower or from a lower concentration to higher concentration uh, through a semi-permeable membrane or any membrane is known as simple diffusion. Through this process also various substances they diffuse within the cell itself. But what about osmosis? Osmosis is a process in which again the movement of substances are taking place, but these movement of substances are taking place from one place to another or from intercellular membrane to extracellular membrane through a semi-permeable membrane. And because of the presence of semi-permeable membrane, the movement is always taking place from higher concentration to lower concentration of water molecules. That is very important. We discussed about these two types of one is the simple diffusion we discussed, and second is the osmosis. Now let us see in details about the plasma membrane. What is the structure? We know that it is a bilayer or bilipid layer structure. In a lipid bilayer structure, we see that a barrier is present. A barrier to water soluble substances is there, and this water soluble substances they cannot pass through the lipid bilayer because of the structure they have the presence of water, and the membrane is hydrophilic. So because of the hydrophobic, I'm so sorry, it is a hydrophobic membrane. Because of the hydrophobic uh, entire tail region and hydrophilic upper head, we see that the substances which are water loving they get connected to the heads, but they cannot pass through the cells because of the presence of hydrophobic inner membranes. And if any substance which has to pass through this, it has to have a lipophilic outer covering for the movement, and that is done with the help of various proteins. So we will be discussing about the entire idea by which the fluids get transported in the entire cells, and they move from one side or extracellular matrix or extracellular part of the cell to the intracellular part. First of all, we will categorize the entire type of diffusion to two types or two categories: the active and passive transport. In the passive transport, it is a kind of normal diffusion which is occurring from concentration of higher concentration to a lower concentration without the utilization of energy. So here concentration plays a very vital role for the process in case of passive movement of molecules, or here the movement is specifically about the water molecules. So where the concentration of water molecule is higher, the water molecules will move from higher concentration to lower concentration. What about facilitated diffusion? The facilitated diffusion is the movement across the same concentration gradient, but here we require certain molecules which will be helping in the process. They can be channel proteins, they can be carrier proteins, and there will be no requirement of energy. Just certain molecules will be there which will be helping in the process, so that the movement of water molecules can take place within the cells with the help of certain porins. And porins are specialized proteins, especially the aquaporins. They help in movement of water molecules from outside to inside of the cell. And certain other proteins can also move through the serpentine receptors or channel proteins, or changes in the structure of the channel proteins. So that is about the facilitated diffusion. What about active transport? Whenever we talk about active transport, here the utilization of energy is required, and the movement is always from lower concentration to higher concentration. So it is always against the gradient. So these are the three types of diffusion which we will be discussing. And let us see in details about each one of them. You can see over here three of the like all the different types of diffusion are discussed, and the first one which is discussed is a passive diffusion. We have an idea what is the meaning of passive. It means that there is no external force which is being applied and the movement is taking place on its own. So it is a type of process in which the molecules or substances, they move from an area of higher concentration of water molecule to a lower concentration of water molecule, and this is only facilitated with the help of concentration gradient. This movement is only facilitated with the help of concentration gradient. So oxygen is moving from outside to inside with the help of passive diffusion. And next is about diffusion through aqueous channels. What is the meaning of aqueous? There are various channels which allow the movement of certain substances when they are required. There are various channels which are capable of recognizing a sodium molecule, or a potassium channel is there. So sodium molecules can move through it only because of the shape specific nature. Similar is the case of hydrogen ions or potassium ions or various kinds of ions. They all can move only because of this specificity about the shape. So we are going to discuss about these aqueous channels. They are suppose a channel is as such that when it is outside, it has not this kind of channel. Here the channel is already made. Let me make the channel in a much more appropriate way. I will be making the sodium molecule in this format, and here this is a small pore which is present. Now as soon as the sodium molecule, it comes and gets attached to this big size place at this area, this is the sodium molecule. When it comes and gets attached, this entire structure, it reverts back, or it is capable of torsion. Think that it is getting it is getting turned around. So upside down turning is taking place of this sodium. So the sodium which is getting attached from the extracellular matrix to that base will get inside now, because the torsion has taken place, and this torsion is only facilitated with the help of adherence of the sodium molecule to that base. Second type is about this glucose molecule. You can see facilitated diffusion is taking place with the help of carrier proteins. Now what is the meaning of facilitated diffusion? It means that the diffusion of substances which are going to take place, they are going to take place with the help of special proteins, and these special proteins are known as the carrier proteins. And the entire process will be not taking place with the help of any kind of expenditure of energy. There will be no use of energy, just the concentration gradient will be playing a role, but it will be done with the help of certain substances or certain proteins. So here the size of the substance is very important. Smaller substances are diffused quite faster as compared to larger molecules. So that is the basic criteria. Second important thing is about the solubility of the substances, like in the lipids. So since the lipids are the major constituents of the cell membrane, substances which are soluble with lipids will diffuse quite faster in the case of membranes as compared to any substance which is lipophilic. So for the process of transportation or facilitated transportation to occur, it is very important that the substances, they have hydrophilic moiety. When water affinity is there, then then there will be difficulty in movement of any substance through the plasma membrane, because the plasma membrane is having a outer covering of or is having a inside entire region which is water heating. Next important thing is or important facts are about the facilitated diffusion. It cannot cause any net transport of molecules from low to high concentration, because it is not capable, it is not utilizing energy. The transportation rate is maximum when the size of the molecules is quite small. The facilitated diffusion always takes place in a shape specific manner. So the shape of the substance or the molecule which is to be diffused is very important, because the shape of the substance or the porine is going to change. Porine are the proteins, the carrier proteins, whose shape is going to change whenever any substance is getting attached to it. So it is shape specific. These facilitated diffusion carrier proteins, they are very sensitive to the inhibitors. So whenever they come in contact with the inhibitors, they lose their activity, and that's why they have to be protected a lot. One of the common example is of aquaporins, which allow the movement of water from outside to inside of the cell. There are various types of aquaporins, but the function is just to transport the water molecules from exterior of the cell to inside of the cell. What about the active transport? This active transport, it is a kind of process which it utilizes the energy. So because of the presence of energy, the movement can be from the lower concentration to higher concentration, or it takes place against the membrane concentration gradient. And in the active transport, there is no as such requirement of semi-permeable membrane. It can take place in any kind of situation, but most of the times the active transport occurs in case of semi-permeable, or there is requirement of semi-permeable membrane. See, it is taking place in the roots, it is taking place in our body when the glucose transport is taking place, or even the sodium potassium pump, over there also it is required. So let's see this one more diagram by which you can just imagine how is the process taking place outside of the cell, plasma membrane, and inside of the cell. Simple diffusion through the lipid bilayer, you can see certain substances, they are moving inside, and it is against the, like it is in the concentration gradient. Non-specific transporters are there with the help of which facilitated transport is taking place with the help of non-specific transporters. So non-specific transporters are there, like they can bind to sodium, potassium, hydrogen, anything. It's just not specific. Transported substances, specific transporters, like only glucose will be allowed, or only sodium or potassium will be allowed. That kind of transporters are known as specific transporters. Aquaporins, I said there are around 10 types of proteins, uh, or carrier proteins. One of them is a aquaporine, which is only allowing the movement of water molecules from outside to inside of the cell. Now, why water molecules? They need to be facilitated with the help of certain proteins, because of the nature what they have. They have water affinity, or they are water molecules which will be repelled by the double layer of the plasma membrane. So that's why it is important that they have certain proteins which will be helping in the process of their transportation. The sodium potassium pump, let's have a look on it. Three, we have already discussed about this earlier, but let's recapitulate the information. Outside of the cell, inside of the cell. Point 1, 3 sodium and 1 ATP bind to the protein pump. You can see the pump over here. 3 sodium and 1 ATP is getting bound, and because 3 sodiums are blue colored structures which are getting bound along with the ATP, and the shape of this entire structure is changing as soon as the ATP is attached. Hydrolysis of ATP takes place, and because of that, the change of the entire structure is there, and the 3 of the sodium ions, they are aligned in such a way so that they can move out of the cell. As soon as they are sent out of the cell, the shape changes and releases the sodium ions outside, and enables the potassium ions to come and bind to the pump. So 3 sodium has went out. In spite of that, now 2 potassiums will be coming inside. So 2 of the potassium ions, they come inside, and as a result of that, again there will be change in the shape of the sodium potassium pump. As the change in the shape is seen, we can see that the potassium or the inorganic phosphate is released. Because of the release of the potassium inorganic phosphate, the return of the pump to its original shape takes place, releasing potassium to the cell's interior, and once again the sodium binding sites are exposed for the next cycle to be repeated. So whenever ATP is bound, the shape is as such that it can allow sodium ions to get inside. Then when the ATP is broken down, and now again when the potassium inorganic phosphate is released out, because of that we see that the shape is again changed, and this process goes on continuing. So in active transport, we see that the ATP is utilized to get energy, and the sodium potassium pump is performing with the help of this, and the entire functionality is taking place only because of this entire structure. Uh, there are 3 ways by which facilitated diffusion occurs. The first type is uniport, in which the movement of ions take place only from one direction, or it takes place in only one direction. That is, seen in case of uniport. Symport is a condition in which one substance or two substances, both of them are going inside. And antiport is an example of sodium potassium pump, over where one substance comes inside the intercellular matrix, whereas another substance is leaving the matrix. So they are antiport. The example is sodium potassium pump in case of antiport. Symport is glucose molecules. They are always moving inside the cell, and rarely they are going out of the cell because they are to be utilized in order to produce energy. Uniport is can be seen in case of aquaporins. At times we can see that the aquaporins, they only allow the movement of molecules in the inside the cell. So that is an example of facilitated diffusion or uniport. You can see the entire process of facilitated diffusion shown in ion channels and carrier proteins. First one is a protein channel. You can see that there is a space for the movement of this glucose molecule, or maybe some molecule which is moving from outside to inside. Extracellular surface, you can see that these are shape specific structures. As soon as the proteins are coming and getting bind to the center, the shape is changing and they are allowing the opening. You can see this substance will come and get adhered over here. As soon as it is adhered at this place, the shape will be changed. Now it will be as such that this place will be closed up and this one will open. As soon as it opens, it will allow this substance to be, you know, thrown out in the intercellular space. Finally, during the what about the carrier proteins? These carrier proteins, they carry the molecule and change or allow it to move inside, and here the shape is changing. So there are various ways by which the substances can move inside a plasma membrane, or it can pass through the plasma membrane, and it is very specific. That's why we say that the plasma membrane is a semi permeable membrane which allows only certain molecules to pass through it. This is all about the different kinds of functions of plasma membrane and different proteins which help in the process of movement of substances in the plasma membrane.